Ladies and gentlemen, 2 days ago, when the world was apparently coming to an end, the market was sinking. Every single bear on CNBC came out of hiding in the bushes, came out with their claws sharpened and ready, and then retreated safely back into the bush where they always belong. The prediction was that the market would fly up to the 21 moving average. I said it on Wednesday, 2 days ago, after the close, that it would happen within 5 trading days, most likely less. It already happened in the SPYs, didn't happen in the Qs. Is there another buying opportunity, and exactly where? I'm going to show you exactly where I feel it is. I'm going to also tell you why I bought Tesla and where I think Tesla is going. I am Mark Melnick, and this is the Newsbeat Show. Thank you so much again for reading this disclaimer at the beginning of our video. But before we get started, tonight's program is brought to you by Johnny Walker Blue. Johnny Walker Blue. And this Newsbeat show would not exist without viewers like you. So thank you so much, Newsbeat Live Room. Maybe let's do a little toast. All right. Mm. Just to give you a little visual reference, Melnick could pack his shit down. Yeah, you know it. All right. So, yeah, cheers to world peace. It's happening in the world, right? Such a horrible thing. Despite being such a weird week for me, I had one of my slowest weeks of the entire year. However, I'm blessed to be able to make the money that I did. I am thankful and grateful for all the money I made, and it was thanks to you guys in the Newsbeat live room. So, cheers. I love you guys tremendously. So overall, I love you guys. I really do. So overall, just looking at the market here, 2 days ago, the daily chart looked like this. I did a video, and again, I'm not highlighting the video trying to be like, look, whatever. Truth is, I've made incorrect predictions before, but the video really discussed inflation. It discussed where we go from here, and of course, if you are interested in seeing it, it was actually Newsbeat show number 789, just done a couple days ago. And Newsbeat show 789 says inflation. Where do we head from here? And I was basically highlighting how you shouldn't trust anyone. Trust is something that is earned. It is not bestowed upon you. I even tell people all the time, don't trust any gurus, don't trust me. I'll try to earn your trust. I'll work hard at it. And if I have your trust, I want it to come from the fact that I've demonstrated and earned it from you. But literally on a Google search, if you type in inflation effects, 2 words with a space, very popular exploding keywords and a lot of those search numbers going. It literally talks about inflation, which raises the cost of borrowing. Common inflation effects raises the cost of borrowing, lowers the cost of borrowing, reduces unemployment, reduces employment. It is the dumbest thing ever because people just don't really understand apparently inflation when honestly I think a 5-year-old can understand it because it's really not a difficult topic. Inflation pretty much means all your purchasing power is declining, which means numbers go up. I I'm telling people your house is going to double in value within probably a year. Depending on where you live, it'll probably triple in value if you live in high desirable real estate. But right now, the high desirable real estate is outside of the city, because most people could work from home. So there's a huge exodus happening in California, had a negative population growth rate for the first time ever in its state's history. New York, people are leaving New York. And I'm a New Yorker, and from Brooklyn, and I mean, Brooklyn's a shithole. I mean, I wish I could talk nicer about it. It's my hometown. I love it. I wish it the best. This COVID thing changed. I'm not saying obvious it changed the world, yes, but it changed the entire mood, the entire aura. Just everything feels so gloomy, you know? But when you're inside the suburbs, everything still feels normal because you have grass and trees aren't going to walk around with a sour face on. So 2 days ago, the spiders on the daily looked like this. And of course, every bear came up. It's elevated volume. We were overbought. That's what they said. And I came out, and there's the elevated volume. And I came out and said, we're still printing money. It's going to be almost impossible for the market to have, not a market will correct. Don't get me wrong. It'll be impossible, in my opinion, to last in a bear market for any significant amount of time if we can even get back to a bear market in my definition. I know people have these different definitions or oh it's 2 straight quarters with negative growth. It's like shut up. Look at the effing spiders. You really are you telling me if the spider if the growth in the next 2 quarters of our GDP is negative and the spiders are 50 points higher that we're in a bear market or no? Like so many people have so many weird slangs. I try to avoid it all and I just try to say where are we going next? So the prediction here on the spiders and Qs, which hasn't gotten there yet, and we'll get to that momentarily, was the spiders were pretty much going to bounce back and I'll pull you up on the one chart, was going to pull back to this pink line, which, remember, this is what it looked like when I did the video, and I said we were going to bounce all the way back to the pink line. Ever since I did that video, your spiders closed 11 points higher from 2 days ago, from the close of Wednesday to the close of today. So it actually did get about above the 21 moving average. The Qs, I also said the Qs would do it, in all fairness. It hasn't yet, but the Qs are closing approximately 10 points higher than where we were on Wednesday. I'm going to get into why I bought Tesla at the close today and my reasoning for it, but I want to talk about the spiders and I want to highlight that because the spiders already hit my target in my 5 day time span. I said it will likely happen in less than 5 days, but I gave myself 5 days. It happened in 2 days. Where can you buy the spiders now if you missed out on it? Now, I can't legally tell you where to buy it, but I am going to show you where I want to buy it, and you could use your own judgment and opinion, and I will show you my logic. I'm not going to come out with some nonsense and tell you the buyers took over, the sellers took over, or the Klingons took over, or I'm not going to come to you with a whole load of nonsense that is statistically irrelevant, but just, someone's trying to sound smart. I want you to just see it with your own eyes. And I think seeing things with your own eyes is better than what anyone can say. So what happened? Remember I said when you put a deep red bar, you always, through the Bollinger Band support, you always come back to the 21. But what happens afterwards? This is what we're going to discuss today. So right over here, you came back to the 21 2 days later, when you put a red bar through the bottom end of this blue bar, which is Bollinger Band support. It happened here too, but you didn't close underneath, so I don't want to pretend like I look smart there, even though it would have worked. Here's the next time you close under Bollinger Band support. 1, 2, 3, 4 days later, you were there. But what happened afterwards? Well, that's what we're going to talk about. And of course, when you put in a deep red bar through the Bollinger Band support, the only time it did take a while to work, even though the spiders had massive rallies and didn't hit the 21 till much later, was during the entire COVID thing. Outside of that, this has been statistically viable 100% of the time. There's not a large sample size, but it's been statistically viable. It's not an opinion. It's a fact. after the whole COVID drop from February, March last year, every time you put a deep red bar in the spiders, within 5 days you're back to the 21, sometimes 2 days, 1 day. Okay. But what happens afterwards? So the spiders already got there. Um, what happens next? Is there another buying opportunity? I believe yes. So what happened last time before that is you got above it here, you rallied and you kept going. You didn't come back to the 21 until there, till December 21st. So you went below here in October, late October. You got back to the 21 on November 3rd. And since then, in order to pull back to the 21, it took you a month and a few weeks, like 7 weeks. And that's where the buying opportunity is, when you go above it and then retest it. I humbly believe the spiders are going to gap up on Monday. I humbly believe the Qs are going to gap up on Monday. But the point is, once you're able to get over the 21, anytime you pull back to it again, it's been a buying opportunity 100% of the time since the COVID crisis began. Of course, I'm supposed to tell you prior results aren't indicative of future performance, but you're asking me my reasoning, and I'm not going to give you a whole load of oversold, overbought. I'm just looking statistically, nothing else. Like what has happened recently in the past. Now, I don't want to look over the past 50 years of what happened when the spiders did it, because that's irrelevant to me. We're in a completely new dynamic. We're in a new market, and I believe in shorter term information. I Here's the bottom line. Like, just if you want to be on the same wavelength as me here, would you rather have a strategy that is 80% consistent over the last week, or would you rather have a strategy that's 80% consistent over the last 50 years? Now, some of you are like, 50 years? Why would I want a week when I can have 50 years? Well, what if in the past week that strategy was only right 20% of the time? In the last year, in the last 10 years, that strategy only worked 40% of the time. But 40 years before then, it was working really well. You're better off knowing what works now. Whatever worked today in trading is more important than what worked 3 months ago, by far. So when people talk about the powers of backtesting, it's so funny when people come with these algos like, I got a working algo. I backtested it 20 years, Mr. Melnick, and I paid all this dumb shit money for that data and information so I could backtest it on all these names. And actually, a lot of times they actually pay per name to get all that old data, like 5 minute charts from 20 years ago, like that sort of shit data, like the crazy shit in which you couldn't find, you could pay for. That's the funny part about it, because those strategies never worked. Out of all the people who've come to me with a solid tested backtest strategy, 100% of their backtests work. Zero of the strategies were able to be put in use. And people don't understand why that happens, and I keep explaining to them, because what happens last week is more important than what happened the last 20 years for what you're planned on intraday trading Monday. You're a long-term swing investor. You're going to Warren Buffett this shit. You're going to go ahead and you're going to buy, and you're going to, fall asleep on a mattress with a cherry Coca-Cola next to your bed. You're going to wake up 50 years later and be happy. Look, God bless you. It's kind of hard to fail if you choose, you think Apple will be around 50 years from now? Oh, wow, what a great call that was. Like, yeah, there are people who do that. God bless you. I'm more talking intraday, short-term traders. People want to take a trade for a week, a day, a month. So let's go on to the next time we close below Bollinger Band support. Even here, where you didn't really close below it, but I'll still just show you because you tested it. I was only basing it. You got to the 21 the next day. You got above it, pulled back through the 21 right here, and then literally popped up for 1 day. But again, that's not a good example because I'm only looking when you close below it. Close below it here, get to the 21 2 days later, get above the 21, you pull. Did I ruin my trend line here? There we go. Get above the 21 right here, and then you pull back right here. You get a nice little overnight there. Went down a little afterwards and then exploded up. Now we're in a situation where even right over here, when you pulled back to the 21 for the first time in the spiders on May 4th, after a long time, you popped up again, right? Now we yanked down below it hard. I turned very bullish again. There's a live video. I mean, there's a video in real time. I'm literally showing you the after hours prints of the spiders and everything. Like, look at it. So all I'm doing is using that same statistical analysis, but just pushing it after the fact that you hit the 21. So now we're above the 21. What I'm saying is let's hang out above the 21 for, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 days. I have no effing clue. But my point is on the spiders, when you're ready to pull back to this pink line, and if you don't know what the pink line is, it's a simple exponential 21 moving average. It's the average type exponential, average type of last. It's the default setting on TC2000/freestockcharts.com. I don't know what your exponential moving averages look like. It, excuse me, does not take into effect pre and post market data. It only takes into effect normal trading hour data to derive that moving average. So if you want to follow along, that's how I came up with it. Then if you need to hear what I said again, you could rewind this video. Your buying opportunity in the excuse me, my buying opportunity in the spiders will be when we pull back to the exponential 21. My opinion, remember, just to be fair, I thought the Qs and spiders would did it. So far, I'm only half right. Qs have not gone. That's the NASDAQ 100, the triple Qs. NASDAQ has, the Qs have not gotten there, but we still had a really solid bounce. I think we're going to get to this 21 moving average. Keep in mind, as long as it's above it, it keeps leaning lower towards it. It's almost like a magnet. And it keeps getting pulled towards it. So yeah, I think these Qs are going to hit this 21. And the question is, can we do the same thing in the triple Qs? And the answer, believe it or not, is maybe not as solid as the spiders. So right over here, you close below the 21 on the Qs. You didn't really get really above it here. You just sort of chopped around and then moved up. It was kind of funky there. It's hard to say how well that one worked or didn't. Over here was more of a clear example because you got clearly above it. You see my point when you get clearly above the 21? Over here, you didn't get clearly above it. You were just chopping around it until over here you got clearly above it. And then when you pulled back to the 21 for the first time, you missed it here. It actually gapped below the 21. This was the first time the Qs actually went below the 21, and it was just a mess, that trade. In all fairness, spiders a lot smoother, and they have been a little bit divergent from each other. Yes, the spiders are much percentage-wise and dollar-wise closer to all-time highs than the triple Qs. So I do think the Qs are going to hit the 21. So like you might be sitting there like, all right, Mark, so the spiders might be a better indicator. What can I do? I mean, one thing that I can personally do is I could just literally buy spider calls. Another thing I could do is the banks have been absolutely on fire. I could go ahead with a stupid Citigroup, a JP Morgan, a Goldilocks and the Three Bears, a Goldman Sachs. I could go for shit like this if I needed to play the spiders. Now, moving on along, I am going to explain to you exactly why I bought Tesla today. I think I think Tesla's going right to the 21 moving average from here. Now, the 21 moving average is it's going to go down every day, but I don't know when Tesla's going to want to hit it. I don't see any reason why Tesla doesn't go to $630. Like we're talking really short term, like by Wednesday. By Wednesday, I would say like there's no reason why Tesla can't go up another 40 plus points. And again, for Newsbeat Live members, we do give our overnights for free. the stock is gapped up, and yes, I guess I'm using it as an example, similar to how I used Amazon as an example. But yeah, you get our alerts right before we take as we take these trades in real time. And I'm going to show you why. And just in all fairness, Tesla, as I speak, is up $8.26 after hours. That can obviously change over a weekend, but just to be fair. Why do I think that? Well, here's the thing. When Tesla puts in a red bar under the Bollinger Band, then puts in a green bar, you generally gap up. I think I actually took Tesla overnight on Tuesday and lost a little bit of money in this. So I actually tried it here and lost money. Just see, to be fair, with my trades, I show you where I lost, but I want to explain to you why I bought it. Then you pull down again, and then once you put in the green bar, you just bounced right up the next day. I know this doesn't look like much here when you put in the green bar to put in this red bar here that it's a 21. It's a lot of money. You closed at 673.58 and it opened up at $700.52. This is a no joke gap up right here. Huge. I mean, 27, 26 and a half, 27 points. It's enough to make you smile when you're holding option contracts, trust me. Um, and I generally sell very early, which is why I'm mentioning it too. Other times, Tesla has broken under Bollinger Band support. It's very rare. Right over here. You can see 2 days later, you just exploded right up to the 21. Other times you're below Bollinger Band support, slightly over here. Literally the next day exploded through the 21 and more. Okay. Yeah, this is more COVID crisis, but you put in a bunch of red bars, and then 5 days later you get to the 21. COVID crisis is kind of breaks a lot of these rules. I don't think we're in a COVID crisis market-wise like we were last year, because otherwise the market would just be plummeting every day. The funniest thing fundamentally for me in Tesla here is the recent oil things. First the Russians hacked our pipeline, and then we believed it wasn't the Russians, and then Colonial Pipeline said they're not paying the ransom no matter what, and then the next day they're like, we're paying the ransom. So, I mean, one of the sides are bullshit. I mean, you're getting fed shit from somewhere. With that being said, we closed the Keystone Pipeline as well. We're giving electric vehicle subsidies. And it is shocking with all this amazing printing of money that Tesla is trading where it is. Just so we're clear, I plan on never owning a Tesla for my entire life. Somebody actually offered me a Tesla for some flesh and blood, an actual Tesla, and I refused them straight up. Refused them straight up. I'm like, give it 2 months, and I'm gonna regret that decision. I'll tell you, I'm just making the point that I'm not a Tesla fanboy, because a lot of people are. I am shocked that this thing isn't over $1,000. Shocked with where the market is going. Some people want, some people are probably looking at this Tesla and they're saying, well, Mark, there's a lot of competition. General Motors and Ford and other companies. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, where on this blue effing planet have you seen an electric Ford? I've seen it like I live next to people worth $500 million, and one of those imbeciles bought it and regrets it, and I see her all day, Mark, and it's like, give me a break. People want sex appeal. People want sex appeal when they buy an electric vehicle. People are not trying to save money when they buy an electric vehicle. You're not really trying to get an electric vehicle on a budget. It's just where we will get there. We're just not there yet. So to think of GM and Ford, and I'll tell you, like I saw the BMW i8 inside the dealership here in Jersey. Like I saw that car and I'm like, holy shit, that's one of the hottest things I've ever seen in my life. I mean, look at it. And it's an electric vehicle. I said, look at this shit. It looks like it's hot as F. Look at that thing. Look at that thing. It's God, look at that car. It's gorgeous. Goodness, God, is that a look at that thing. That's a head turner. That's a head turner right there. People be like, "Oh, I wonder who the driver is. Wonder if he's single. Wonder if he's single." Woo, good. Again, a little tingly over here. That's the problem with this car. That's why Melnick is a happily married man and does not and will not ever drive one. But with that being said, a car like this, I am telling you right now, and of course the driver is on the right side, so this is the foreign version of it because you ever see those people in London with the steering wheels on the right side of the car? I look at it and they're driving down the road, so I'm like, holy shit, we're gonna die. Oh wait, no, we're fine. You ever go to London? Uh, Pretty shitty city. But anyways, with that being said, really great hamburgers though. And eggs. Eggs and hamburgers, like amazing in London. Anyway, point being is I don't even see this shit on the road. You want to know what else I don't see on a road is an electric Mustang. Have you guys ever seen an electric Mustang? It's one of the ugliest shits I've ever seen in my entire like if you could afford this car, you're going to buy you don't believe me? You think I'm talking shit about Mustangs? It looks like a used Kia is what it looks like. It looks like a used Kia. That's what it looks like. Like that's a Mustang. And look, they put the little Mustang logo on front, like you're fooling someone. It's like you're not fooling me. That's not a Mustang. Get the F out. Like I know what a Mustang looks like. That's not a Mustang. There is absolutely zero sex appeal. It's zero sex appeal. Like I could like literally, I mean, not to get too dirty here, but like I could literally imagine like a good reason to buy one. It's like you park it in your driveway right by your bedroom window, and it's like if you want to not get too excited and you want to sort of get like turned off, you have to sit there and you have to be like Barney the Purple Dinosaur, or you could just literally look outside directly at your electric Mustang and nothing is going to work at that point. I'm telling you right now, that is just like you're done. You're done. Woman not happy, and yes, that is what she said. That's it. Like, could you imagine, like, if you have the money to buy that, you are not going to buy that. And then, of course, they tried to show a guy next to it. They tried to show a guy next to the Mustang right here. This guy is full of regrets and doubts. This is not a guy you want to hang out with. It's like, how are you doing? He's like, pretty shitty, man. I'll tell you, not having a good day. You don't see this crap on the road. Tesla doesn't have competition. They have people who want to compete with them. Who want to compete with them. Big difference than competition. They want to compete with Tesla. Are we competing with Tesla yet? Are we there yet? No. Are we there yet? No. Are we there yet? No. So when I look at Tesla with a hacking, they're Russian or not Russian, taking out the Colonial Pipeline when the Keystone Pipeline is shut down, when we're investing in all these electric subsidies and everything in the world we're inflating the dollar. We're doing all this. There is nothing on this blue marble spinning around the sun at 60, what, 7 to 8,000 miles an hour is how fast we're spinning. And then we're probably, what, moving about, shit, what are we moving? Like 90,000 miles an hour? Shit. Like I have to look it up. We're moving pretty. There's no way on that stupid blue circle spinning around the sun that this isn't the most perfect scenario ever in Tesla's history. There has never been a more perfect time to be Tesla than 5 minutes ago and 5 minutes from now. Never. Could you imagine what Elon Musk must have been thinking when the Colonial Pipeline, could you imagine what he was thinking, what Elon Musk actually looked like when the Colonial Pipeline got tagged? This was Elon Musk in real time. He's like, what happened? The Colonial what? And that was his reaction directly afterwards. Because he's sitting there laughing his ass off. Because what you want to know what makes Tesla look more attractive? When you drive by the pump and you see $3 a gallon, and you want to know what's more sexy than that for a Tesla? When you see $3.50 a gallon, and you want to know what's sexier than that? $4 a gallon. So oil is spiking. You have government investing billions of dollars. It appears we're going to sign into the Paris Accord full-fledged, and we're going to have to print another couple $1 trillion. Where do you think a lot of that money is going to go towards? They're making solar panels, batteries, cars. They're sitting there and they are latched on to the government's teat, and it's being filled with delicious, nutritious milk. And they're sucking that. I don't know. Is there a scientific term? Breast? Tit? They're sucking it dry. And you're telling me, with all that good stuff going Tesla's way, with the Qs at all-time highs, spiders at all-time highs, right by there, you're telling me that this shit is trading 40% off its all-time high? Huh? Does that make sense to anyone? No? Same here. This is the most... It's getting to the point where I'm comparing Tesla to gold and silver, where I cannot understand why gold and silver is so low. I'm looking at Tesla, it's like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Absolutely 0 cents. So, Tesla has the ability, when it starts breaking through Bollinger Band, to snap back to the 21. It's happened before. It's happened before. I think we're going to snap back to the 21. 21 goes down every day. Currently, it's at $656. I wouldn't be surprised to see a $630 Tesla plus. And by not surprised, I mean like by Wednesday, like 3 days, like next week, Monday, Tuesday. Like I'm in it. I'll be up or down money on Monday morning. I'm not saying I'm holding it till then. I'm not saying I will or won't because I have no idea. But I think you're going to see a 630, which is not that bold of a call. 40-point move. I mean, what am I really looking for? A 6-7% move in a few days? Can happen. So, man, what a crazy week. Kind of choppy. Technicals save me. News flow. Honestly, I don't think I made money on news flow this week. I mean, I made on a lot of money on a lot of news flow plays, but overall with the wins and losses, I don't think I came out ahead. So, yeah. Did you guys enjoy tonight's episode? There are links in the description to join the Newsbeat live service if you're interested. And even if you're not, if you enjoy this content, you could throw us a thumbs up. We'll give you a little follow through, whether I'm right or wrong, next week on Tesla. I'll talk about it. And we'll just keep thinking ahead. So I do think a rally is here to come. I do think we're printing trillions of more dollars. And I do think that will cause inflation. And even though that Google doesn't understand inflation, even though Google doesn't get it, and even though the actual Federal Reserve does not get it. Despite that, I still think we're going to go higher. So, hope you guys enjoyed this Newsbeat show. Happy trading, make money. I'll see you guys next time on the Newsbeat Live Trading Broadcast. Have a